Hello there and welcome to another episode of Cutting Through the Bullshit. I am your host, Dr. Stephanie Snyder, and I am a high performance mentor. Through my unique blend of strategy, mindset, and intuition, I help men and women to cut through the BS in order to create the life and business they desire. So if you caught my last episode, I poked a little bit of fun at science. It's fine. Go check it out. It'll be okay. And today we're going to come back. Sci-fi, that's funny. Sorry. My mind is having quite a lot of fun with this whole Artemis landing thing, but that was the last episode. So we're going to stay grounded here in this one. No pun intended, but also pun intended. And we're going to talk about our level of faith and trust. And I was actually I was coaching myself through this morning because my energy was a bit off. Both hormonal wise, just fluctuating, but also there was like the heaviness that I had been feeling the last couple of days in terms of my mood. And I wanted to shift it. Couldn't seem to talk myself out of it. And so I resorted to a dance party. That helped for sure. I also screamed into a pillow a couple of times. That really helped to just kind of move it. And what was coming through this morning was the mental load. If you're not familiar with this, ask a woman that you know. But there's a mental load. There's a lot of open tabs on our computer and our brains. Things that we are coordinating, organizing, in charge of, essentially, right? And that mental load can be quite exhausting. And so the mental load had gotten to me this morning, and I was prompted to stop worrying about it and just trust that it would be okay. And told myself I didn't need to know how it was going to work out to trust that it would work out. And the example that I always give here is actually quite, what's the word I want? We'll say accurate here. So let me walk you through this. So if you surrender something to God and you stop micromanaging it, it works out okay. Now, it may not work out the way that you think it's going to be, that you think it should, but in the grand scheme of things, it actually works out probably better than had you tried to manage it on your own. And the example I like to use here for this kind of trusting and surrendering is the light switch on your wall. So when you walk into a room and you flip on the light switch, you trust that it's going to turn the light on. Right? It's not even a thought now. You know, because every single time you've turned on the light or you've hit the light switch, the light has come on. Except maybe in the off chance that your light bulb blew out and then you're trying to figure that out. Usually it's a pretty easy fix. Here's the thing though. My bet is that you don't know where those wires are actually connected to in your house, unless you're an electrician. I'm not talking to that, right? But chances are you don't know exactly how that light turns on. You just know that the light turns on when you flip the switch. In the same way that when you hit the ignition button on your car or you turn the keys on your car starts. You probably don't know exactly how your car starts, but you trust that when you turn the ignition that your car is going to start, right? Okay. This is the similar kind of trust and faith that you can have with God and your plans. Okay. So my brother actually reminded me of this morning. There was a podcast that he listens to. I believe it's called The One Thing. And we generally try to do the 45 things to get from A to B or A to Z, right? We're like, okay, well, I want to build a 6-figure business. So here are all of the steps that I have to take to build a 6-figure business. And we micromanage it all. And sometimes we get to that 6-figure business, and sometimes we struggle to actually get there because we've micromanaged every single step. instead of saying, okay, here's the one thing I know I could do that would have an impact every day, and I can commit to this, and I know I'll get there. I don't know how, but I trust that the light's going to come on. If I turn the switch, I trust that the light is going to come on. So it's the one thing, and you trust that outcome. And the example that he gave to me, my brother, when I was on the phone with him this morning, was was listening to this episode, and this woman had published a book. And the one thing that she did was she posted to LinkedIn every day for like 400 days straight. And a book publisher reached out to her. And then she put together a book, and she published a book, right? But it was that one thing, posting on LinkedIn, that got her there. And so there's one thing that you have 100% control over that you could do that could get you to that place with the level of trust that you have in your car turning on and the light switch going on, or the light going on when you hit the switch, right? Like, we exercise that level of trust already in our lives. We just don't do it on the big scale. We want to do it on the big scale, but then there's also the issue of trusting on the smaller scale. And the scales aren't really even different. It's the same scale. It's the same trust muscle that you're working. But this is what trips people up, is because they feel like they have to know the how. The how figures itself out. It's going to be different for everybody. But if you can focus on the one thing that you can do, and if you've got a strong enough why to back it up, you can do anything. Truly. You can do anything. So, how do you begin to develop that level of trust with God? First, it starts with you. Because for some reason, just human nature, we try to put God into our image. We try to make him relatable as every other human is to us, right? Because that's just how we operate. We want it to be relational. However, the reverse is true. We were actually created in God's image. He was not created in ours. Okay? And so you really have to start to trust yourself. Slow down long enough to have a conversation with yourself and begin to trust yourself. And it can start super, super small. Whatever it is that you are moving towards, right? For that particular woman that I shared about, she committed to writing on LinkedIn. That was it. It was her commitment. It took over a year-ish, right, to get that published book. And I don't even know if that was her goal to start with. It doesn't really matter at that point, right? But that's what she committed to. That was the catalyst. And so what is the one thing that you could commit to? What is something simple where you could say, you know what, starting today, I'm going to do this thing. And then have a reason behind it. Why are you doing it? Because that matters when push come to shove. That matters more than the thing that you're actually doing. Why you're doing it matters way more than the thing you're actually doing. Because if you don't know why, it's all going to crumble. It's all going to come falling down at you the second somebody says, well, why do you do that? I don't know. I just like to. Well, why? I don't know. Because it's fun for me. Right? I heard somewhere one time that it was like 13 levels of why. If you could answer why 13 times, you got to like the root of it. So, why are you doing it? And can you practice a little bit more trust in the process? Because when you surrender the how, it gets to be way more fun. Nobody likes to be micromanaged anyways. You don't, for sure, right? Some area of your life, you're like, listen, I got it. So stop micromanaging the how and just let it be fun. Whatever it is. So I feel like that's complete for today. So I'm sending you lots of love. I hope you have a beautiful rest of your day. And as always, be you, because the world needs more of you. Bye.